Well, got a good update for you guys. So this is the transmission that I've had in my truck for the last 4 years, and this is the one we blew the 5th gear up. I actually really didn't give it any power and blew it up anyways. But anyways, I had another one of these that I pulled from a wrecked 94 F-150. And it's been sitting in the corner here by my air compressor. And I was going to put it in the other bullnose truck that we got around the corner. But since this one has got some damage to it and needs a repair, I took the other one, and since it was in good shape, I just resealed the front cover and the tail housing and put it in this truck here. And yeah, I just took it for a round trip, and I've had no problems with that transmission. It actually shifts just a smidge smoother than this one. Anyways, I'm gonna go crack me one of them seltzers I got in the fridge. We need to do an oil change. We've got 1,100 miles, I think, on this oil, and this is the initial break-in oil, which I'll show you what I use. This is all that Cummins wants you to use. It's down here. This stuff was on sale for 10 bucks a gallon, and I don't think I have quite enough. I can just top her off later. I'll get another jug. I think this is 4 quarts. So I've got 1,000 miles, and I've given her the onions a few times, mind you. And this is what the oil looks like after 1,000 miles. So I probably could run this for another 3 or 4, but I want to make sure we don't have any, coolant, which I don't think we do. And just see if there's any metal debris that come out of the thing, because I did rebuild this engine myself, and I gotta know. So far, the only oil drippage that I can tell is just from that draft tube. Well, I got something over here. Huh, well. Blah, blah, blah. This, that, the other thing. So far, there's no water came out. That's good. Well, everybody wants to know how this Harbor Freight stuff is holding up. Well, I'll give you an idea. This Harbor Freight light, I just dropped it right in that bucket of oil on accident. And while it slides around pretty easily now, it's still working just fine. Nice, making it right into the bucket. This filter started with 0 miles on the engine. We got 11, yeah, it's almost 1,100 now. Okay, new filter's on. I put a date on it, because more than likely, with how much I drive this truck, or how much I don't, because I don't drive it to work every day, probably won't need to change the oil until next year. If you see drips of oil, it's my light. It's just filled with oil. Okay, there we go. The drain port is closed. Oil filter's in, new one. Let's just fill her up. This is 8 quarts going in. We'll need 2 more, but I'll have to go get some later. Let me just do it this way. You can see the oil going. water flowing out of the the fill tube. I'm going to fill these up with the used oil and probably put it in the tank on this. Drink up, baby. Fresh oil, fresh fuel, full tank. Okay. Got a little bit of oil on the backside of the belt there. I'm sure that'll make a nice noise. So that was 8 quarts. And like I said, the 8 quarts does not fill this. It takes 10. But according to the stick, we're on the just about on the full mark there. Now, we haven't ran it, so a quart of it's going to go to the filter. We got Earl. We're not dripping on the ground. The only thing dripping is this stupid light because I dunked it in the freaking oil bucket. That was just great. Okay. Okay, let's plug the alternator back in, shall we? Okay, I just ran it until it had oil pressure all the way in the middle. I didn't pre-fill the filter. I never do that on this thing because it just makes a mess. Like my Fusion, it's just straight up and down, so I pre-fill it. But this one, it doesn't really matter. The oil pump is going to pull oil from the pan, and it gets sucked up, and then it gets, ran through the whole engine. So just for a few seconds there's a little bit of air, but it's not really going to hurt anything. Not going to hurt the oil pump, not going to hurt the bearings. So we're good to go. Let's see what the oil level is, and then we'll mess around with the used oil and see if we got any material at the bottom. I didn't see anything scary come out, and I had good flow, so nothing blocked it. Okay, so we're below the hatch mark. You can barely see it. So we'll need probably one more quart, actually. So I'll probably end up getting 2 quarts, dumping it in there, and then we should be good to go. So oil changes on this is done on this. The next oil change, we're going to come in and adjust the valves, readjust them after, well, I should do it now, but it hasn't really been tippy-tappy too much, so I'm going to let it ride out for a little bit. But yeah, we'll end up doing that sometime next year. Maybe even if we get bored, we'll do it. Or perhaps before the intercooling stuff, but all that's kind of on the back burner right now. We're pretty much down under the hood there. I'm just making all kinds of messes today, aren't I? Okay, that jug's full. Let's see if I can knock this over. So let me show you what I'm seeing. All I see is not really a whole lot. That was just a bubble. There's really nothing in the bottom of the pan. There's a couple of sparklies, but you know, there's gonna be some stuff in there from breaking in, but there's really nothing there. That's pretty awesome. And it looks like we had let's see, there was about 8 quarts. We filled both those jugs we haven't left over, so yeah, we were a little low on oil, so it used 2 quarts. So yeah, nothing surprising in the oil. So yeah, I can kind of calm down a little bit. And then of course now it runs and drives again with the junkyard transmission in there. This one will eventually get to fixing. I just got to order parts, but it's really not that big of a deal right now, because after that gets rebuilt, then it'll go on the other truck eventually. But yeah, so that's it for this video, guys. Yeah, I don't know what else to say or anything other than check out the links down below, and as usual, catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys. See you later.